Well, hello there everyone. Dan Toman here again. Front office topic here to talk about, specifically comments, notes, and traces on our guest reservation records in our property management system. So most property management systems do have certain features included that you can input notes, comments, or what we call traces, which usually a trace is a way of indicating follow-up for a certain other department that uses the property management system, or your own department, or something to follow up on a future date, time, so on and so forth. Kind of a reminder, if you will, a formalized reminder of some type. So comments and notes, different property management systems are going to call them different things, whatever the field is named. Some property management systems have different fields. Some have a comments field, which is an area where we'll print out on a registration card or on a guest folio or on a confirmation email letter. And some comment fields do not. It's important to keep in mind and make sure that you're aware in the system that you use which fields print out and show up in certain correspondences and which ones don't. This is important for you to know what type of information you're going to type in certain areas of a reservation. Very key piece of data there. So comments and notes fields on guest reservations can be used for a number of things. Really important for a customer service aspect, as well as a follow-up aspect for ourselves and for our coworkers. So when you're talking about a comments field, you're going to put information such as if the guest had requested a rollaway, so much as so they need to be further away from the front desk or in a quiet area, those types of things. There's also, you can input, and this is something that I tend to do. In my history, I use these fields probably way too much, and my coworkers would get tired of reading all my notes. However, it's really in the interest of fulfilling this guest stay to the best of our abilities. You can input things such as the cancellation policy that was quoted. If you have a property that has multiple different types of cancellation policies for weekdays, weekends, peak season, off-peak season, so on and so forth, just so that you type in there so that any of your coworkers know what was quoted to the guest, and there's no questions further down the road. That's just one tiny example of ways that you can use comment fields and notes fields. So like I said, you've input a lot of different information into these fields. Most property management systems always also have request codes. Not all do, some do. That's a good idea, and usually a request code is going to work as a trace as well. So I talked about traces just a little bit ago, meaning they'll show up on reporting for certain departments. A request field usually occurs the same way. So you'll want to make sure that your request, your menu of requests, rollaway, early arrival, late checkout, away from elevator, near elevator, rollaway, crib, gosh, all these different things. You want to make sure that that list is very robust. And that's really up to property management to get that good and populated so that it works good for the team. And also so that on the back side of the system, those requests are mapped so that when one of them is chosen and used on a booking, it'll feed off to the appropriate departments to show up on any reporting they may run. All right? So that being said, back to traces. So you can usually set up a trace to be followed up by a certain department, so on and so forth. These are good for housekeeping issues, good for details that need to be communicated across the whole work group. So all in the interest of customer service. Now, like I said, some of these fields can show up on a registration card. Pretty clearly, you want to be sure that you're tactful and that you know which areas show up on which different types of reportings and printouts and forms that show up. If it's a free form type thing that you can type things in and not pick from a list, we want to be sure that our comments are being respectful and professional and only the information that's needed to provide a great customer experience and not any more that isn't needed. Okay? So be sure to get get useful, or I mean get comfortable with using those comment fields, notes fields, and traces within your property management system. They really can provide a wealth of knowledge for your coworkers and really work in the best interest of providing that guest an even more personalized experience. You'd indicate things like VIPs, any kind of codes that can be used such as that are going to really provide that stellar experience and communicate details that guest might be expecting, any hot buttons that guest might have if they're celebrating a special anniversary or birthday while they're with us. We can really work to personalize that guest experience after the guest shows up and as well as when they're checking in, all just by listening and putting in some more notes and recording just a little bit more information so that we can ensure that we've done just the best we possibly can for the guests in front of us. All right? Thanks everyone. Thanks for your attention today, and I hope it's a great day where you're at.